There we go. I have the camera on. Looks like we need to get more light in here. Just 1 second. All right, as they say, let there be light. And then there was light. It is officially extremely late for this thing. But what you gonna do? Twitter was acting up, so we're gonna get this thing done anyway, regardless of what's happening. Let's see this. All right, let's go over here. Looks like my mic is off. So camera. Okay, camera's on. And now let's see if anybody can hear me. And then I'm gonna see if people can hear me. We're gonna see if we can get some stuff going on. Yeah, we're gonna see about inviting people into this. Just a second here. Where is my option to invite people? Okay, that's not supported. Radio is, so let's see what's 720. No, let's go with 480. All right, and do you want to mirror the camera? No. Boom, general. Okay, seem to be good. Now the only question is, how do I invite someone to this? That is the question. It's done. We're live. And we're waiting for some people to join us. Let's see. I am not 100% sure if this is working or not. So let's just see what happens here. All right, lovely people. It seems to be working. People can hear and see me. And now I am just going to find, there we go. That's what I was looking for. I have found the link to invite guests. Boom. So I have sent and invited. Cool. And then I will invite. Where is Kundan? Sweet. And we should have the party started in a minute or two. Yes, 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 y'all. All right. So in the meantime, what do we need? We need some jams, but we also don't want to have copyright strikes. I can't just play anything. So this is going on Facebook and Twitter. So I shall wait for people to join me. And while I am waiting, I should share this link to. Hey, feel free. Those of you who are watching, feel free to share the link. This is available on Facebook.com/Afrohealer, and you also have it at YouTube.com/Afrohealer as well. And I should share that to some people so that those who are supposed to join it on Twitter will be able to come to it because Twitter is acting up today. But let's be serious. Today is not the first day that Twitter is acting up. It's been acting up for a while. But shout out to the folks at Restream.io because their stuff is working solid and has saved my bacon both yesterday and today. Boom, look at that. Let's find that link. Let's share that link to some lovely people. Okay, so I believe I have the link down. Oh, people are saying the audio is high and then low. Okay, I'm gonna try and talk at the same volume. Let me know if it's still staying going low or high, or if it's about the same. It might have been just me indirectly mumbling to myself. Maybe that's why. But who knows? Who knows? All right. So this is YouTube link that I've been sending out to people. And let's find that on Twitter. Yes. Okay. All right. And where was I in my? All right, let's get this going. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, feedback from people. Audio just went low. Well, you know what they say. Sometimes you gotta get out the big guns, aka my Bluetooth baby. All right, so let's see if we can get Bluetooth working. And I will switch to that. Sometimes that works a whole lot better. Connecting to Bluetooth now. Boom. Okay, thank you. Why are you taking so long to connect? What's going on? Oh, snap. I see what's going on. We're at 100% CPU. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely need to get more RAM. Okay, let's try one more time. Boom. For about 9 minutes. Going to see if we can get some guests in here in the next 4 or 5 minutes. Please bear with us. And then once we do that, we should be able to get something going. Let me attempt to. Oops, that's just muted. Let me see if I can switch my audio to. Yes. Okay. I just switched over to my Bluetooth. Now, those of you listening and are chatting with me, let me know. Is that better? I know there's a bit of a delay, so I will give you some seconds to let me know if this is better or if this is worse. Please let me know. The question was better or worse, and they answered it's very scratchy. A bit worse. Well then. Well, well, well. All right, let's switch for. How about now? Is that better? You said it was a bit worse. Is it? Should we give it up? Baby, give it up. So, about now. Anyway, thanks for your patience. I'm just checking some stuff out since Twitter is acting up today. And I also going to close down. Yes. Okay. Let's see what's happening. Boom, boom, boom. And let's see if a guest has arrived. Ooh, I see somebody in the chat. Let's see. Yes. I am trying to fix that, to fix the audio. Let's see, where are we? We are still at 100% CPU, so which means I should get rid of. Okay, co-host is not available at the moment. All right. What I should do is will get rid of all the 20 million pages that I have. And in theory, if I do that, we should be good to go. So give me a second here. CPU usage is 100%. I shall drop that quickly by getting rid of all this Windows, and then we should be good. We should be good in theory. So just give me a moment. Thanks, Travis. Good to hear from you. It's been forever, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And if you're ever in Halifax area, please make sure to come by, holler at me. Still have the same number that I had in PEI. So holla. All right. Yes, I want to tweet you. I'm talking to my computer, by the way. Yes. Hopefully that should fix it. We'll just give it another minute or two to close down all those things. So I need a faster computer so I can do all these things effortlessly. Let's see what's going on in the chats. Let's see. Ooh, hey Kundan. I sent you a link. All right. Let's see. Hello, people. Ooh. I hear you about the audio issue. I will try to deal with that. Show that. Hey, hello, and hi to you as well. Hello, 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 hello. And boom, we seem to be down to RAM's down. CPUs is now at 63%, up from 55. So that should deal with the stuff that's cutting out. And yes, Kundan, good to hear from you. Hopefully, we'll be able to see you in a minute. Let's see. See if I can. No, I can't edit that. All right, let's check this out. So, I am going to have to do my Facebook on my phone so that way the computer can attempt to do everything else. Okay, some people are telling me that audio seems better. Is it still good? Okay, 1 second. Hey, just a moment, please. Where's my mute? Talk amongst yourselves just a moment. All right. Good to hear from lovely people. It's okay. They're telling me the sound is good. And so now the question is, this was supposed to be somebody interviewing me. And because of Twitter acted up, they're gone. So who wants to come jump on in here and do this interview and ask me some questions? I could technically just answer the questions they sent me on Twitter, but sometimes a live chat is better. Let's see. Okay. All right, people. Who wants to join this chat? Volume seems to be good. People say that they're hearing things well now. Yes, Travis, it's not just you. Audio's been fixed now, so we should be good. I'm just giving it a little bit for some people to join this, so that way we will be able to have some conversation, as they say. That's my fake French accent. Kind of like Pepe Le Pew, who was a horrible, horrible person. Please do not be like Pepe Le Pew. Try to learn some manners and some respect. So, go in once, go in twice. Let's see what's happening on the good old Twitter world. And let's attempt to do this again. Where is my... I'm just checking some stuff. Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on with the host, but I'm asking them some questions. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. Let's see. Where is clip tray? Nope, not that one. All right. Connection issues. Okay, but you can watch me live on Facebook or Twitter. I'm just sending this to some people. All right. Slowly, slowly, they say. See, now I understand why some people who are doing stuff online have assistants, because it's much easier to do all these things at the same time. All right. So Kundan, if you're still here, let me know if you're able to. while we are waiting for that, I shall attempt to start a bit. All right. So where was? Oh yes, lovely people. My name is Ifo. Last name's Ikede. You can find me at facebook.com/Afrohealer. You can also find me on Twitter. Usually have Twitter spaces, but for some reason, Twitter is not working well today from on my phone. So what you're gonna do? But it's also twitter.com/Afrohealer. And then we also got youtube.com/Afrohealer. So you can watch it wherever works the best for you. So today was supposed to be story time, and there's some question. So let me go to the questions that my host had already sent me. Let me tell them. Answering your written questions online. So there we go. Where was the first question? Kumura uno. Okay, the first question was, what did I enjoy doing when I was little? Um, yeah, basically, eating. I loved food. I could eat till tomorrow, um, and then eat some more. I don't know. I just loved food so much. But I'm thankful that at that time food was not as expensive as it is now because I don't know how my parents would have been able to afford to feed me based on the amount of food that I was eating. I was eating and playing soccer, or as we call it back home, football. So I played soccer 3, sometimes 4 times a day, and then I also was like eating a lot. And then I would go after school, after I'd done my homework, I would go play tennis for about an hour. And then from tennis, if it was Tuesday or Thursday, which was when I had taekwondo, I would go to taekwondo. And then after that, I would finish off with an hour or so of basketball. And then I'd go home, have a shower, eat some more food. And then if there was some homework, I would do some homework. Otherwise, I'd watch a little bit of TV. Then I'd go to sleep and wake up the next day and do it all over again. So that was my jam. So the other question was, what was my favorite thing about computers in childhood? Um, hmm. So, interesting thing is, I didn't actually grow up. Well, there was technology around, but I personally did not have a computer. We didn't have a computer in the home at the time. This was, I would say, early 80s to early 90s. Um, Now, for some reason, I just wanted to know everything about computers. I have no idea why. It just intrigued me. um, I happened to run across a manual for it was a manual for WordPerfect. It was an old WordPerfect version, one of the first ones, and it was a massive. It was like this thick, and I ended up reading everything cover to cover. Um, and then I think later on I found a manual for MS. It might have been MS DOS, and I also read that. And then later on, I found I don't even know who it was, but someone had some subscriptions to some of those popular computer magazines like PC Magazine and Byte. I think it might have either been at the library or one of our neighbors had them. And so I remember borrowing those and just going through everything. And every time my father would get a contract to teach somewhere internationally, and they'd ask what I wanted, I always answered that I wanted a computer. I don't even know why I wanted a computer. I played video games, but I wasn't really that big into games, but I just was just intrigued. So it wasn't until so when we moved to Canada back in '89, that was when that's when there was a computer in the house when I arrived. My father and my sister had already been here for about 6 months or 7 months before we came. And so yeah, so I got in front of a computer and started learning how to do things. I had taken a course in typing, so I knew how to type. So was just history from there, I guess. So what kind of things? The other question was, ooh, there we go. Someone is joining. Matt, is that you? Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Okay, Matt, you seem to be muted. One second. Let me just I cannot hear you. Just a second. Boom.
Boom. Okay.
Woohoo! Look at that. We do have a host and a co-host. Boom boom. So Matt, I was just answering, so I don't know if you saw it. The first question, the question you sent to me on Twitter. Oh, and we just lost Matt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
cool. So nice to meet you, Matt.
Great to meet you too.
Yeah, where are you?
So I'm in Georgia,
Georgia. Which Georgia?
in the United States.
Okay, because there's lots of Georgias, aren't there? I think there's a few.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, thank you for showing up.
And
Um,
I have
it,
notifications on Twitter turned off.
what?
I have notifications on Twitter turned off. I-
That explains why I didn't hear you. Okay, your voice is breaking up a bit. I don't know if it's just me. Um, I,
Okay.
I'm gonna
How about now?
ask. I'm gonna ask people if they're hearing you. Okay. Um, yes. Oh, and people who are watching, I have the chat open, which means if you send me a message in the comments on Facebook or on YouTube, I will actually be able to see them and respond to them directly. So, okay. So, hey, Travis and PEI. I hope you're still, I don't know if you're still in PEI. Well, good to hear from you. And Travis is telling me that we're fine. Is, oh, Matt, you're coming in twice.
I'm,
Would you rather be
I'm
on
gonna
the
switch
other
to my
one?
computer.
Okay, I'll switch you. All right. Boom. There you go. So what's going on in Georgia? You got multiple computers, multiple screens. Things must be good in Georgia. Okay, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Computers everywhere. Computers everywhere.
All right. So Matt, tell us about yourself. Apart from being in Georgia, what do you do when you're not asking people like me questions?
So I actually work in cybersecurity. Help protect companies' endpoints, their laptops, their servers, with AI powered software.
Okay.
I also like to write in my free time. I run a newsletter, goes out every Thursday. Made one today. And yeah, like to develop projects on my own time, and yeah.
Cool. So if people wanted your newsletter, how can they find it? You want to write that in the comments and I'll showcase that?
Sure, sure. I'll
What's
send
your
it.
newsletter called?
It's called Tech, Earth, and Personal Growth.
I love it. And
Yeah,
I'm my thing and it looks like I don't have enough light on me. All right. Cool. So tech, earth, and personal growth.
yes, that's right. That's right.
Nice.
Uh,
How long's that newsletter been going?
so actually, 2 weeks. Just started it.
Oh, nice. It's a fresh baby.
Yeah, it is a fresh baby, but I have been blogging about these topics for a while, like a year or two. But now I started a newsletter. So
Cool. So is
yeah.
it tied to your blog as well, or
So I do it on it's a Substack.
okay?
So I send a message there.
Yep, I see it. 1 second. I'm switching so I can. All right. Cool. So that's the URL you want me to share with people?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. Cool.
Be awesome.
All right, let me copy that.
Also, give me 1 second as well.
Oh, so it's telling me that. Okay. So people on YouTube can see my replies, but people on Facebook cannot because it's a personal profile. Okay, cool. So I will switch to. I will have to switch that later. The stream is already started. It's all good. So anyway, all you folks on Facebook, I can see your comments, and I can respond to your comments. I will just respond to your comments from Facebook here on the video because I can't respond directly to you from here. But if you're on YouTube and you comment, I can actually respond to you directly. So feel free to feel free to do that. Cool. All right, we're back to our regularly scheduled story time with EFO, which Matt's your newsletter is 2 weeks old, right?
Yep, that's right.
And story time with EFO or story time with Afrohealer is 2 days old.
Okay, okay.
See,
We're
so
raising babies.
your newsletter is like a granddaddy compared to mine. It's already done 2 weeks. All right, cool. So I will stop reading your questions because you're here and you can read, and so you can pretty much ask me anything. So you don't. It doesn't have to be just those questions. So whatever
Okay.
is driving for you, let's do it. How much time do you have before you got to run?
So I got about like 20 minutes, 25.
Beautiful. So we'll make it short, sweet, and tight, and then I'll edit the beginning part that was all crappy and have a short video with this part, and people will think we're so professional. Awesome.
Okay, okay. Let me, you know what? Can you give me 1 second? Give me 30
Take
seconds.
take your
30 seconds.
time. Take your time. Cool. So, people in the audience, type in your questions if you have any questions for me. If you just want to say hello, um, if you want to let me know the audio is good or not good, let me know how your day's going. Travis, if you're still watching, what's up? I'm just scrolling through. Boom. Matt will be back in 30 seconds. And oh, there we go. Did you change shirts?
That's right.
Oh my God, you're taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like to dress nice, you know?
Oh, see. And look, I didn't even dress for the show. I just rushed in the door from physiotherapy and got some food, and I'm like, oh my, it's time to do this. All right. All right. So, where were you in your question? Yeah.
Okay. So let's start. So what did you enjoy doing when you were little? What was
I
that
actually
thing that
already,
grabbed your attention?
I actually already answered that, but I'll give you the
Oh,
Reader's Digest
okay.
version.
Sorry.
I said uh, I love to eat delicious food. I wasn't a big sweets fan. I didn't mention that. So I didn't like, some people were all into candy. In my home, there wasn't a whole lot of candy kicking around. There were good things. There were papayas, mangoes, guavas, fruits, nuts, and delicious West African food because I grew up in the west coast of Africa. So I love to eat and I love to play football, which they call soccer in this part of the world. So I was eating and playing soccer. That was my jam. Eating, playing soccer, and I pretty much played soccer 4 times a day, sometimes more. And then I also did taekwondo 2 or 3 times a week, and I played tennis 3 or 4 times a week, and then I was usually swimming once or twice a week. And yeah, so um, some kids got into a lot of trouble. I'm not sure if I didn't get into trouble because I was a good kid or because I was just too tired from all the other stuff I was doing. I don't know, but whatever it is, that's what it was. Oh, and also riding my bike. I love riding my bike everywhere. Cool. What about you? What was your jam back in the day, man?
So my jam, so I played a lot of soccer too.
Okay.
Played goalkeeper. Love playing goalkeeper.
Nice.
Yeah. Won a little championship there. A few championships. Just I love the sport. Love playing with a team. And also reading. Um, I always loved to read when I was little. I read many novels. I read A Song of Ice and Fire. You know the Game of Thrones series?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I read that one when I was like in seventh grade. So I've
Wow.
always loved to read. Uh, and yeah, and that's basically what my childhood was about. And Legos, and fruits. Love fruits and eating too. So,
I did Lego as well. I didn't really I read a little bit, mostly comics when I was younger, and then I would say after I moved to Canada, um so before I moved to Canada, my parents' complaint to me was that I was not reading. After I moved to Canada, the complaint was drop that book, we need you to do something. So it kind of flipped. I got really engaged into just figuring out stuff, whatever technology or science or whatever. I was just all over. Started a lot of history and a lot of stuff about medicine, natural healing. Trying to figure out what kind of plants were good for us, what kind of supplements were good, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think that research is super important, and I think the healthier people are, the happier they're gonna be, and there's so much to research, so much biodiversity, so many interactions that happen with the body. It's like a fascinating library of things to discover.
cool, 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 cool. So
So should I move
well,
on?
yeah, you can just keep going. We can just keep talking, or we can go with your questions. It is technically the match show. I so you're asking questions. I'm just here to answer your questions. So you can whatever way you're most comfortable with is cool with me.
Okay, sure. So what kinds of things did you start building um, in your childhood? So yeah, what did you like to build, and why did you like to build it? What were you thinking at the time?
Okay. Tree houses, because your kid. I built tree houses. I also built. Um, um, I used to build this little structures with. I'd go and cut down some. I say trees, but they're really twigs. But when you're a little kid, you say it's a tree. I cut down a tree, so I cut them down. I would shape them, and then I would get plantain leaves to use to make it so that the water wouldn't come in. So I'd basically make myself like a little hut. I used to enjoy doing that. So I would have like a slanted roof and the different four sides of it, and I just built that in the side of our yard. That was one of the things that I enjoyed building, and also fixing and repairing bikes. I enjoyed doing that for two reasons. One was because whenever there's a puncture in my tire, I'd have to take it to get. Oh, my buddy Travis is going to join us. I take it over to get fixed. They would charge us something for it, and so I wanted to figure out how they were fixing these things, so I could do it myself. And so a lot of people would just drop their bike off and then leave. But I would drop my bike. I would bring my bike, and then I would sit and I'd watch the guy while he was fixing other people's bikes, and then he'd eventually get to mine. So I basically saw the whole process. So I learned how to do that, and then I went and I bought the little parts that I needed to fix bikes, to fix chains, and then I'd fix my own bike because the repair kit cost less than what I was paying to get my flat tire done. So I bought the kit, I fixed mine, Then I fixed a neighbor's bike. Then I fixed a few other people's bikes, and then I started making some money from fixing bikes. So this was fun.
That's
That's
how I
awesome.
got into computers.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is Travis. Travis, Matt, Travis, and I used to work together at the uh, did tech support for an internet company back in the day. When was this, Travis? 2004.
I was there for 15 years. It was a while ago, 2005 maybe.
Yeah, yeah. No, you were a lifer. I think I was only there for like maybe 4 or 5 years.
I left 4 years ago.
Okay.
I'm with CGI now.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
super
big
cool.
company.
Yeah.
We're in
Nice.
40 countries.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I work for Fortune 500.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cool.
That's super cool though. CGI. I wish I could I could do CGI. That's so cool.
No, the
Well,
company's called CGI. It's not actually making
yeah, it's
computer
an IT
graphics.
firm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. 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 All right.
Cool, cool.
Nice.
But they might be looking for cybersecurity people. So if you're looking for work, maybe Travis will hook you up.
For sure. We
Okay.
look for everything database or uh, scripting, everything. We have 77,000 employees,
Wow.
so we do a bit of everything.
Nice. Nice. Amazing. Amazing. Um. Okay. Cool. So Ifo. So you started making bikes. You also started creating, architecting little huts. You must have had like a deep intuition of sort of mechanics, right? Like, did you like did you look at math textbooks and science textbooks and see like, oh, okay, I'm building this based on what I'm learning here, or was it more intuitive?
It was a combination of intuitive and just I pay attention to a lot of things. Um, I didn't necessarily pay attention in school as much as I should have, but I paid attention outside of school a lot. So if something interested me, I would do deep dives into it. So I always wanted to know how did people build stuff um, when all they had was just machete, or back home we call it a cutlass. How would you build something? And so I figured out how to do that. I figured out what kind of tree branches you should get to do it. Um, One of the tricks I learned over time was instead of getting the branches or the instead of just getting the branches and then having to get rope to tie so you can keep the top parts of the frame up. What I instead of started doing was finding branches that already had like a Y shape at the top somewhere in it. So then I would then cut off that part. So then when I put it in the ground, it already had something that could hold the other frames that were going to go across. So over time, I started figuring out different ways to do those kind of things. So it was kind of fun.
Engineering.
Yeah, it was engineering. And then I said I wanted to be an engineer. I also built a little pond for some fish. But I did that. Actually, I learned how to mix concrete. So I dug a hole in the ground, also in the corner of our yard. We had a big yard, and then I filled it in, and then I put some water in, and then I went out fishing and caught some fish, and I put the fish in there. Um, but I forgot one very important thing: drainage. I built it really, really nice, but there was no point to drain out the water. I was kidding. So I didn't think about that. And then the other,
Airflow.
yeah, and then the other thing I made a mistake was the land that we had a slope, and I actually built it at the bottom. So whenever it would rain, the water would come in and would overflow. Um, and actually, at one time, I thought I lost all the fish, so I stopped feeding them or anything because I thought they were all washed away. And then months later, I was just walking by and I noticed this thing, and the fish had grown like massive in that space. I don't know how it survived because there was trees and grass and everything in there, but it managed to continue to live. So yeah,
It it's crazy how nature will just go off by itself and create like little ecosystems.
yeah.
It's really cool. That's really cool.
And then I also started fixing electronics as well. Just little things like radios and just figuring out how transistors worked and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting to do as you're young. And it's sort of, you learn not just by reading what's in a textbook, you learn by building, by having a hands-on approach, by really immersing yourself in the experience of engineering, whatever you're engineering.
Yeah, I pretty much had no textbooks. Well, there were textbooks, there was a library, but I just figured things out. I also didn't have any internet either. So for
I
the
find a
electronic,
lot of that's going away now too, as far as people learning, getting out of their comfort zone and trying different stuff, to learn new skills instead of just going and buying something new, fix it. I've been doing that a lot in the last few years,
yeah,
and with the internet, makes it easier.
this is true. Like back then, the way I saw it was okay. The radio is not working right now, um, and so it can't get any worse.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You
So
can't break it.
you can't break it if it's already broken. So I'm gonna try, and if I can bring it back to life, that's awesome. And if not, then it was a fun little project. So that was what I used to do.
So when did you know you wanted to become an engineer? When were you like, okay, this is my path?
That is a good. Okay, I wanted to actually. Okay, my father's a vet pathologist, and there are lots of doctors in well, yeah, there are people connected to health in my family, and so I was really interested in health, and I actually wanted to be a doctor. Um, so it was doctor or engineer. Those were one of the two things. Um, but I also enjoyed um, because I was just taking things apart and putting them back together. I enjoyed, you know, getting into with something and saying, okay, what happens if I put something where they say it's not supposed to go, and what's going to happen? And I figured if I did that with human beings, I will end up in jail. Not that I want to do it, but you know what I mean. And so I figured, okay, if I do with technology, I can hack things, try to figure stuff out. And as long as I'm not dealing with pacemakers or hospital equipment, it's all good. So I figured that my safest route would be engineering, and I thought computer engineering. So that was what I first started off in school was electrical and electronic engineering.
And so where did that take you? What was the next step?
Um, I accidentally started a computer repair company, um, mostly because I was a broke student and we had a computer. It was an old IBM, and that was back in the day when you bought a computer, they actually sent you a service manual with it. It was a 286. And so there were some issues with it. I looked up the manual, figured out, and then I fixed some stuff in it, mostly because I couldn't afford to go pay someone to fix it. And then my sister told a neighbor about what I did, and he also had a problem with his computer. And so I bought the computer. They have this for Dummies series. So I bought the PC Repair for Dummies book, um, and I read through it. And then I looked at the error messages that they were having on their computer. There was a solution for that in the For Dummies book. So then I fixed their computer. Then they told somebody else, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm here for school. I'm too busy. I don't have time." And they said, "We'll give you $15." I was like, "I'll be right there." So I started repairing people's computers, and then I got a cell phone, and so I had a company which I called UNA Global Solutions. The U is for my middle name, and so it was a Yujiro, which is my middle name, and Associates. So that was the name of the company, and we specialized in doing repairs and tech support late at night. The reason for that was I was in school during the day, and so I didn't want anybody to call me during the day because one, I was in school. Two, I only had unlimited minutes on my phone after 6 and on weekends. So
Those days.
yes, and so that's what I did. So I got really good at being able to wake up from a deep sleep and be like, "UNA, how can I help you?" And they'll tell me what the issue is, and yeah, so that was the beginning. Then it led to me starting to custom build computers for people and for businesses. And then later on, I was at an event and I met the head of Sony's consumer electronic division. They came to do a presentation to the local computer dealers at our hotel in town. Because I was a reseller, I was invited to it, and they also mentioned that there was free food, and I was so anything that said free food, I was going to show up. So I showed up, and after her presentation, all the other, I think all the other, I was probably the only one that was under 35 that was there. I think I was probably 20 or 21 then. And everybody else went to look at the technology. Nobody went to talk to her. So I went up to talk to her, and I asked her questions, and I asked, "What did you study?" And she said she was either a philosophy or a psychology major. I said, "Did you take any tech courses?" She said, "No." And so I said, "How did you end up being the head of this division?" She said, "Well, she loved to write and she loved technology. And while she was going through her undergrad, she kept getting gigs to write technical manuals. And that led to her getting into a company. And then they found out that one of the problems they have in tech, or they had in tech back in early 90s, I think it's still true today, is they can have brilliant engineers creating technology, but a lot of times they're relatively antisocial, stereotypically, and cannot explain to the
Novice.
person or to or whoever's going to buy it the benefit of whatever it is. If you tell them, okay, make this faster, make this smaller, make this more energy efficient, they will go ahead and they'll figure it out and they'll do it. And explain to someone who wasn't an engineer why this was important. Because to say it's faster, engineers like, yeah, that's awesome, but the business person wants to know, why should I spend this money to upgrade, right? And so she was saying that the huge gap was in being able to explain technology to non-techies, and then being able to explain the problems that people were having to the engineers so that they could figure it out. And I'm trying to move this screen so that I'll actually be looking at you instead of looking to this. Okay, that's better. Cool.
Is it okay if
So
I
yeah,
ask a quick question based on your schooling?
you can ask whatever you want as long as Matt says it's okay because it's Matt's
Yeah,
show.
that's why I asked.
Oh, you go ahead, Travis, please. Come
I'm
on.
just
So,
teasing. It's
as
actually it's
Well
actually
done.
my show, but I'm giving it to Matt. Okay, go ahead.
as far as the schooling goes, which is very important nowadays, more so than what it was, when I was younger. Uh,
Mhm.
do you found you learned a lot within taking that engineering course, or did you learn more with experience afterwards?
Um,
Obviously, probably afterwards, but was it useful to schooling?
to be honest, I would say that the schooling was a huge waste of my time.
Okay, that's yeah.
Um, because most of what I learned on my own.
Yes.
Even some of the classes that were beneficial, as we have profs who were good at explaining things. And so I would be going to websites like MIT's OpenCourseWare or Stanford's site to go try to understand what was being explained in school. So I would say 80 to 90% of what I know and what I use to either make money from technology directly business wise or in jobs, stuff that I learned on my own. Um, the only advantage that school has sometimes had degree wise is there's sometimes you apply for some positions
Yeah,
and they will
certificate.
not, yeah, they will not accept your application. Although that's also changing now.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is in the government section as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, even government positions now are saying X amount of experience, or they would say, okay, university degree or equivalent experience. So if you can demonstrate that you have the experience, then that can also help to get you in the door.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was my thoughts. Like before I went to CGI, because I don't have secondary schooling, and all my stuff was like you. Went to bikes. I got a computer. I couldn't afford someone to fix it, so I just did it all myself. And even now I don't have secondary education in computers, but obviously I work for the oil and gas industry, doing software application support for them. So I find that schooling is great for documentations, but skill and knowledge and experience is where it's at. And I hope other companies start to see that.
yeah, I think it's starting to. Even some bigger companies like Google and the rest of them are not necessarily requiring you to have a degree. Now, if you're going into high level research area, maybe you're doing optimizing of compilers or microprocessors, they might want a degree in electrical engineering, or at least for you to be able to demonstrate that you built
Yeah,
circuits. Or
at that
yeah,
stage, yeah, that
yeah,
would be
yeah.
significant.
But even then, you have a lot of people who just have figured out these things, like who built the first microprocessor.
Yeah, he didn't have education. He was just smart.
Yeah,
Tried it,
somebody has.
failed a bunch of times, and then became successful.
When I was younger, I used to say, people say, well, you learn stuff from a textbook. And then I ask, okay, so who wrote the textbook that the person who wrote the textbook used? you know? So it's all knowledge that people end up writing down.
So, I mean, that brings up something interesting. Like to learn all the mathematics and all, the deeper theoretical stuff about what data structures to use and algorithms. There are a lot of algorithms. Knowledge and experience at the end of the day is the best. Is that what you
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the advantages of if you have some theoretical foundation is that it can help you to understand the bigger picture sometimes, depending on where you went to school or how you were taught. Because some institutions, they just have a curriculum and you have the courses and they're not necessarily tied in together. They're just like, this is what you need to learn to get the degree. So if you're in an institution like that, then you can end up with the highest marks, but you may not be able to apply that in a way that is useful to people. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's very well put.
Yeah, but if you've got if you take the time to actually learn the fundamentals of any area of technology, I think that gives you an advantage, because if you've read the basic documentation on something and stuff, and you have to troubleshoot it, either because you're doing tech support for someone or it's your own project and suddenly your code's not working. If you understand how it works um, on a fundamental level, you can troubleshoot it. You're not just guessing. You can say, okay, this is supposed to do this. This is the output that's supposed to come out. Uh, Let me give it some input. Let's see what comes out. And if what comes out is garbage, then I gotta figure out, okay, what's going on here. If the stuff that comes out is actually what it's supposed to be, then I'm like, okay, now I can do some more troubleshooting. So I think that the openness to learn and to also understand that you don't know it and you don't know everything, because nobody knows everything. And I think being able to ask questions, not make assumptions, and to check to make sure that whatever it is that you're assuming is actually makes sense.
In the
Will
IT
probably
industry, it's almost like space.
Yeah,
It's just huge,
yeah,
like so many different fields and categories, and you can just go on, and you're not going to know. You might know 25% of it in the long term. So there's always room to grow, always new technology coming out. That's why it's such a fast, I guess, environment.
and also if you know history, then you can recognize when something is just a repeat of something that you used to do way, 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 way back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, like what is Facebook? Facebook is just like a glorified BBS from back in the day.
Yep.
BBS on steroids. But if we had the same kind of bandwidth that we had back now that we had back, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago when we were all jumping up on dial up and getting into BBSs, we would probably have similar technologies. And in some ways more efficient. Matt, did we lose you?
No, no, I'm here. I just had to turn
Okay.
off my camera.
No worries. You're probably changing into a tuxedo now
I'm James Bond secretly.
because you started with a t-shirt and then went into a collared shirt, and so I'm like, okay, next thing is I hope it's tuxedo.
So I have a question now. So what do you want to build, or better yet, like what do you want your impact on the world to be through the technology that you contribute?
Okay, two things. I registered a domain called Edis Hub, so it's edishub.com, and what we're planning to build on that platform is to be number one resource for number one place to go to find tech resources. So if somebody wants to learn anything about anything related to tech, we want there to be the place that people can go and have vetted resources. So it's not going to be just random web crawler that's going around and finding stuff and dumping it in there. Almost every single link in there is most likely going to be reviewed by a human. Um, so if it's a course on scripting, if it's a course on Perl, a course on JavaScript, it's going to be like a social media site similar to the old. Back in the day, there were sites like DMOZ and even the Yahoo directory that were like directories of internet resources that were created by humans. So that's sort of what I want to build,
And would that
but build
include infrastructure as well?
everything. And so it's gonna it's already up. I'm just to work. I've been busy, but I haven't updated it in a few months. But the objective is to have um, people join as members. Um, to join it will be free. Then after we'll have a curated group of people who would be reviewing. So there'll be subject matter experts. So for example, I've done a lot of tech support. I know Travis has done a lot of tech support. And so if we had a section for resources for someone that's trying to learn the basics of tech support, right?
Yeah, we do that at work now, and we call it KT, or knowledge transfer, and we document it all with
Yes.
screenshots. And one guy on the team might know this application better than that one, so he would do it. And then we would just peer review the documentation and share it out.
So what
Hmm.
we want to do is there's tons of stuff online already that covers all these things. But if you're new to tech, or if you're new to a particular field, how do you know which one is good and which one is not good? Also, I'm targeting a lot of people from West Africa just because I'm from West Africa. And in some cases, yes, some people are wealthy, but in some cases, some people are not. And even in North America, there's also people who don't have a whole lot of money or have none. So the priority for the Edis Hub is going to be free resources. So we're going to find amazing resources that are free. So, for example, Matt, you're into cybersecurity, right? So you probably have bookmarks of awesome resources that people could use if they were interested in cybersecurity. So I would tap into someone like you and say, "Hey, Matt, do you mind just sharing some of your links with the community, right?" And so that's how we want to build it is by getting a whole bunch of people. Just it's not you coming up and trying to find random stuff. Just okay, my expertise is whatever. Then you already have resources because you're using them every day. Which one of those are free? Which ones do you recommend for new people? So we're gonna have three levels. So we have new, intermediate, and like advanced. So then if someone goes in and says, okay, I'm a beginner, I want to learn about this, or I just want an intro to this subject matter, we'll give people good intros. Because there's a lot of places that are just collecting money from people, but not really providing them with any value.
Yeah, and even having like a group chat with free
Exactly.
advice, helping each other out as a community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that in the age of information, where there's so much of it, it's important to have high quality information. And it's also important to use all the information that we're getting to build good things for the world. So this community, this platform that you're building is, I think it's great, and I'd be happy to help.
Awesome. This actually came out of. Have you ever been on the hunt with Sean Charles Twitter Spaces?
No,
No. Oh, interesting. I thought that's where we met. This is weird. Um,
maybe I was, maybe I was.
maybe.
I don't
But
know.
anyway, the hunt usually happens Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. You from what time is it? 9 o'clock Eastern till about 4 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes they run for 24. I think they've had one that ran for 72 hours. They're hosted by a guy named Sean Charles. And we basically have spaces where people come. You got questions, we got answers. So people live, you come in, you ask your question about whatever it is. If you're trying to get into tech, we'll interview you right there and find out which areas you might be interested in, and then we'll send you off to resources. We also have hiring managers, CEOs of different companies that have come into the space, and um, we're probably approaching more than 100 jobs now that have been had from that space that has happened right in that space from just people coming in. So we ask people to shoot 2 shots. So if you're a web developer and you're looking for a job as a web developer, you say, "Hey, this is me. I have web developer skills. I'm into JavaScript or React or Vue or whatever it is." And if there's somebody in the space that's looking to hire, they usually would just reach out to them and do an interview. Or in some cases, the person's like, "Hey, can you review my portfolio?" Sometimes have spaces where we review people's resumes, their LinkedIn, their all that kind of stuff.
Super
Going
cool.
on for over a year now.
Super cool. Super
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, definitely be able to. I'd love to join. Check it out.
Yeah.
So listen, I gotta run. Um, but thanks for today. I think it was great. We had a great conversation. Learned a lot. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you're gonna build. Seems like you got a lot to to build.
Yes. The other thing I'm going to build that I didn't mention was I'm looking at having like a computer science curriculum that will not be in English. Um,
Okay.
because okay, what's happened right now is we're having like technology and colonialism intertwining. So you're having people who say, okay, I want to get into technology, but I live in this part of the world where we don't speak English. And then we're telling people, okay, the first step is you need to learn English so you can be a developer. And or if they're in a place that is was formerly colonized by the French, you're like, oh, you need to learn French before you can become a developer, which to me doesn't make any sense. Um, because the English are learning in their language, the French are learning in their language. So why should we learn in someone else's language? Um, because that's doing two things. One, it's reducing it to only those who have knowledge of a foreign language can actually get into the course, which makes no sense if most people don't even speak English. So I'm planning to have something in Pidgin, which is the language I speak. It's speaking all over West Africa. It's similar to Jamaican Patois. And I'm also not fluent in my language, which is Isoko. And so I'm hoping to actually also have some stuff in Isoko. And so we can use it as a way of preserving language. Because kids growing up, they say, okay, I want to get a job or I want to do something in the future. If they're not taught anything in their language all through their education, then they have no reason apart from maybe they want to be able to say hi to the grandmother or grandfather, but it makes it like the language is not useful
Language.
to do stuff in native languages.
Yeah, no, language, it holds so much culture, and it's important to preserve native languages because they hold a lot of history, and
True.
it's important to for people to be able to build tech in their own languages. Okay, so great to meet you again. Great conversation. I hope to speak to you again soon. We'll be in contact.
Cool, cool. If you click on my face and Twitter, if it's twitter.com/Afrohealer, you would see I have my pinned post is a curated list of tech resources to help people get into tech, and I believe one of them is also the hunt with Sean Charles. And whenever the concerts happen and I hear about it, I also usually post about it on Twitter as well. So you'll see links to that, and you can even check out. There's a couple of replays that you can check out to get a feel for it. But it's really, really nice space, lots of love, and it's all good.
Great.
Sweet. So thanks a lot, Matt. Good to see you, and we'll connect again.
All right, we will. Till next
All
time.
Thanks for the invite, Ifo.
No worries. And Travis, we need to connect. Maybe go fishing or something.
Yeah, it starts in a few days.
Woo-hoo!
I'm all ready to go.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, this is going live to Twitter and to Facebook and YouTube. So I'm just gonna end the stream now and connect with you privately, and we can continue our discussion. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, take care, brother.
Later.
Okay, bye bye.